fossil fuel funding pledge and ask you if you would consider sharing your position about the Granite Bridge Pipeline. All of New Hampshire's Democratic senators are approving it, and they are being told by Liberty Utilities that it will help fight climate change. There's no way that that's possible because not only will it decrease CO2, it will also increase methane, which is 86 times more potent than a greenhouse gas. So I'd love to hear where you stand on that.
Well, yeah, it's interesting you say that because when I went out to North Dakota to the Standing Rock Reservation, the DAPL group, the pipeline group in North Dakota, was saying the same thing about the pipe they were laying underneath the Cannonball River that, of course, the Sioux Nation was very concerned about because of the threat it posed to their water rights. Frankly, I don't believe any of these pipeline industries. They're in it for one reason, and that's profit. Anything that is assisting the fossil fuel industry, in my view, is contributing to climate change, number one. Number two, its only interest is profits, and the corruption of our government, because they provide so much funding to politicians, and the politicians are bought and paid for. And I know, people don't want to hear that, and they look at Citizens United and all this, but it's so far beyond that. We have politicians who are at the beck and call of the fossil fuel industry. There is not a single fossil fuel industry promoter that is doing anything to fight climate change and global warming. And they are the cause of much of it, and they will not do anything as long as they're lining their pockets. So I think we should increase, first of all, the CAFE standards in terms of lowering emissions of automobiles, the opposite of what this administration is doing right now, but across the board it seems to do that. And I'm someone who believes that you ought to walk the walk, and just instead of just talk the talk. And a question that nobody's ever asked me, but I'm going to ask it and answer it myself. And that is, what do I drive for a vehicle? I drive a Prius. If I could afford it, I'd drive a Tesla. But I can't afford a Tesla, but I drive a Prius because it's a hybrid. I get 45 miles per gallon. Now I know if I got another model, I might be able to get 50. But and I do that not because it's a fancy car, but I do because it saves on the amount of emissions being put into the atmosphere, and it's something that I as an individual could do and chose to do.
That's great to hear. Can I ask you a question that maybe no one else has asked you?
Okay.
Do you know about offshore wind and the potential here for abundant renewable energy, and that we asked Governor Hassan, we never got an answer. We've been asking Governor Sununu also to please request a federal task force to study offshore wind in the Gulf of Maine. If you were elected, would you assist with that? Would you support
absolutely.
That?
In fact, I would sponsor legislation that would encourage or provide some incentives for New Hampshire to do that. I mean, you mentioned the Gulf of Maine. There's actually experiments going on right now, really rather encouraging experiments in the Gulf of Maine. They have a wind turbine program. It's about 1/8 its scale in order to determine. And the beautiful thing about wind and the offshore wind thing that they're doing right now with these, they're actually floating platforms. It's very fascinating what they're doing. And what they're discovering is there is no break. Obviously with solar, when the sun goes down, you're not producing directly from the sun any longer. And with land wind turbines, it's when there's a wind that you get it. These offshore turbines, it's 24/7, the wind. There's no let up in the wind. And these actually have the potential of providing us with really all of our electrical needs in New Hampshire and New England. If we join forces with Maine and some of our other New England states like Massachusetts and Connecticut, we need to be doing this, and we need to be doing this now, frankly.
Thank you. Every other New England state is on board except New Hampshire.
That's right.
Thank you for your position.